How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. What the new UK's crypto tax rule means for holders. So British Finance Ministry plans to update crypto rules, should end clear confusion for taxpayers, and give the government more information. Of course, they're always after more information. On Wednesday, the Treasury said it is amending the rules surrounding coin assets on the self-assessment system, which UK taxpayers use to file their own returns. And they must identify crypto separately, I'm assuming from other types of assets. It doesn't really go into detail. Crypto is already subject to taxes in the UK. Usually it takes form from capital gains tax or CGT on any profits made from selling tokens, while profits from mining and staking are treated as income. So, the whole point of this is to make more money. Of course, the government said it hopes to raise an additional £10 million or $12.1 million US every year once this rule is introduced. And it'll be started for 2024 to 2025. The move could help remind taxpayers that they need to be considering the tax position of their holdings. Hodges also pointed out that the move coincides with the lowering of the threshold at which taxpayers had to pay capital gains tax from it's now going to be £3,000. It was £12,300. So that change of quite a bit. You only have to gain about a quarter as much before you had to pay capital gains taxes. And that's where they think that they're going to get their money from in the next year. And if they don't get their money from then it's likely they could drop it down. The move may be partly in anticipation of more taxpayers being required to complete capital gains pages in respect of their capital gains, or crypto gains. YouTuber influencers slapped with $1 billion lawsuit for promoting FTX. A group of investors who did business with defunct cryptocurrency exchange FTX brought a class action lawsuit against multiple internet influencers Wednesday, alleging the content creators push unregistered securities on their viewers and followers while promoting the collapsed exchange. They didn't really do business with FTX, so that's a little misleading there. So the lawsuit seeks over $1 billion in damage and was brought against content creators that reached millions online, including BitBoy creator Ben Armstrong and finance YouTuber creator Graham Stephan, among 7 other individuals that are part of a talent management firm, Creators Agency, I believe the name is. So they're all in a group together, something they're kind of bashing on Ryoshi for. Stephan did not immediately respond to requests for comment from Decrypt. Armstrong told Decrypt that he never received $1 from FTX, adding that he plans on countersuing immediately, probably for defamation. I believe him that he didn't receive any money to promote FTX, but I do remember when I watched his videos on a daily basis, at one point when all the exchanges were going under with the Terra collapse and the Celsius collapse, that he did say on the channel, on a live stream, that FTX was one of the safer bets for exchanges that he feels may not go under, which it did end up going under, I think, a couple months after. So he didn't really promote them and take money from them, but he did somewhat say, hey, they were a possible decent choice, but any market out there was a possible decent choice. So, I mean, KuCoin wasn't one he mentioned. It didn't really get too much flack. It's not US compliant. That's why I've moved most of my money off of it, and I only have a trading balance on there. So it's all about risk management. You'd want to use a ledger if you want to be safe, because those are supposed to store your coins on the blockchain, not through a third party, and it's supposed to have never been hacked, and hopefully never does get hacked, but there is still that layer of concern there with that, as software could get hacked. I've never spoken with anyone at FTX or as a marketing agent acting on their behalf, not once, he said via direct message on Twitter. So the allegations against me are 100% false, and it will be extremely easy to provide evidence of this. The lawsuit claims, adding that the creators were paid to endorse FTX, which was a fraudulent scheme designed to take advantage of investors from across the globe. The defendants named in the case are responsible for damages due to misrepresentations and omissions regarding the FTX platform, and played a crucial role in elevating the collapsed business. The lawsuit claims that without the role of these YouTubers, that FTX would not have reached the status that it reached because it wouldn't have been known by quite as many people. So, like, if they would have promoted Coinbase, they're arguing that that could have made their fan base bigger, or something like that, but I disagree with that because it was all on coin offerings. I almost joined FTX myself when I joined KuCoin, just because they were the two that had the best offers. Now you have MEXC, so I may do trading on there or on off-ramp on there, as it may be safer. However, it's still not, we can't KYC it because of rules in the US. I've spoken with them about that. Following the collapse of FTX, several of the lawsuit's defendants scrubbed their YouTube channels of all clips endorsing FTX and praising Sam Bankman-Fried and replaced them with apology videos, the lawsuit claims. So there's not too much more there that's important. FDIC denies report that Signature Bank buyer must give up on crypto. The FDIC has denied reports that prospective purchasers of Signature Bank would have to stop doing business with crypto, probably after failing to sell the bank for a second time today. And my highlights got all goofy, so we're going to have to kind of just read through this real quick. The FDIC responded to a Reuters report citing anonymous sources who claimed that the buyer Signature Bank would have to agree to give up all crypto business at the bank. Following publication, a spokesperson for the FDIC told the news service that it would not require divestment of crypto activities as a part of any sale, pointing to previous comments from Chairman Martin Gutenberg that the FDIC is not looking to prohibit any particular activity by banks. Initial reports that the FDIC was forcing Signature Bank's buyer to abandon crypto activities appeared to confirm suspicions that regulators targeted the bank because it did business with the crypto industry, sparking a furious response from the industry in question. Well, of course. Earlier this week, Barney Frank, an ex-congressman who helped pen the Dodd-Frank Act, told CNBC that this was a strong attack to send a very strong anti-crypto message, and that he served on the Signature Bank board. The New York Department of Financial Services was quick to dismiss this claim, and they said in a statement, decision to place Signature Bank into receivership was based on the current status of the bank and its ability to do business in a safe and sound manner. So they're saying we didn't go after it because crypto, we went after the bank because it can't do business safely. Only bidders with existing bank charters would be allowed to review their financial terms before submitting an offer, and the FDIC will accept bids until Friday. So they have another round of bidding for this. So hopefully with this, hey, you can get crypto if you buy the bank. Maybe we'll get someone to actually buy the bank this time around. Or maybe it'll have to go for a fourth round where they'll kind of have to go in circles and mull things over even further. So onto the charts. Over on the daily, first thing I want to do is get rid of this new volume profile I made. I tried to make a volume profile. Oh, that's not the new one's right here. I made a newer volume profile to cover this larger range. I couldn't get further over, but as far as I could go, the volume profile really didn't capture any more area. So based off what we do have this golden pocket that we're inside of. It's likely we could go to the top of it. We do have this rising channel that could take us to the top. We'll get to that on the lower time frames. Our stochastic's starting to curl. Momentum's not really that strong. money flow is not too strong, and our VWAP's making lower highs, even with price making higher highs. And we have a bearish divergence here forming on momentum, as we have a higher high on momentum here, and a lower high on price here. So overall, I'm not too bullish. Over on the 4 hour, our momentum is setting up a bearish divergence as well, as we have a slightly lower high here with a higher high over here. Stochastic's heading down, and our RSI is trying to point up, but with the stochastic falling, we might not get too much more strength for too much more of a push-up. Momentum is coming up pretty strong, so that is a positive, or a money flow rather, sorry. And our VWAP is kind of flat on this neutral zone, so that's a little sketchy looking, and looks like it could break. If we look over at the 2 hour, we got this channel. We have this rising channel. We did have a candle wick here just a while ago, so I'm going to have to adjust it as this goes on and see how this candle close happens, as it'll likely be somewhat near the peak. We might get another pump tomorrow, so I may adjust it tomorrow. Trying to get a green dot here, but our momentum's falling while price is going up. So again, another bearish divergence. Stochastic's heading up, RSI is heading up. Now these bearish divergences don't mean you're necessarily just going to dump to the downside, but keep in mind, for our volume profile, we are overextended past this value area high, and we did expect that once we got over the value area high, that we would come into this Fibonacci area where we have that golden pocket. So our money flow is kind of stagnant. VWAP's very weak right now. Momentum's coming down. 2 hours not looking too strong, except for how money flow is looking. Now that VWAP is our medium term, so medium term we could get a cool off, that's meaning. Now the 1 hour we have a diamond here and a bearish divergence. We had a bearish divergence here, took us down a little bit, not too far. Watch for the Bitcoin futures tonight, because we're going to get into something real important you don't want to miss on that. So Stochastic's heading up, RSI is heading up, our VWAP's heading down, but overall it was heading up. So it was pretty strong. Our money flow was going pretty good over the last few hours, but now that we've broken above this area, it could be time to take cool off, as this could be a take profit area. If we do manage to trade to the top of this channel, kind of sideways up here, and then break down all the way over here, it could take us to this 24.4 level. A breakout any sooner, like in the next few weeks or so, could possibly take us to around 23k, or if we got just like some crazy candles, lower 23ks, but we could go lower, and I'll get into that. So we're going to go onto the graph, do the graph. Over on the daily on graph, we have a reversal arrow after we've been going up, so I'd watch for kind of a drop. That could be cautionary, but we did bounce off of our support, so that is good for now. It's likely we could come down for a retest. Stochastic's kind of curling. Money flow's coming out, but it's trying to come back up the last few days. VWAP's making curl up the last few days. Our momentum wave is trying to keep it going up, but that curl is still kind of appearing there. So we'll have to see if that does eventually kind of curl away and bring us down, or if we just peak over and then curl over right away. Over on the 4 hour, we have bearish divergences on momentum. Our VWAP has bearish divergences. RSI is heading up. That has bearish divergences too, as it's making lower highs. Stochastic, bearish divergences. So overall, pretty bearish. Money flow coming up, not too strong. VWAP is pretty strong, but that money flow is kind of rounding off already after just peeking into the green here. Over on the 2 hour, we look pretty good for money flow. It's coming up, but the last couple hours it's been kind of tapering down. VWAP is kind of curling out, so the medium time frame might curl away here. Stochastic's heading up, RSI's heading up, so those are suggesting we could go up, and our momentum's heading up pretty strongly right now. So we have some signals pointing that we could go up, and some signals pointing that we may get some sort of a cool off soon. As this VWAP kind of curled, we got a little bit more upside, not very much, and then dropped down. This one curled, we got a little bit more upside, and then a smaller drop, so just because VWAP's curling doesn't mean you're just going to fall. Over on Anchor, I've drawn some supports here and resistances based off of the 2-hour time frame. So if you want to take a snapshot real quick, I suggest you do that, but we will come back to this. So over on the daily, we've pushed from one support to the other pretty strongly. Pretty good move. Stochastic's kind of curling. Don't know why this looks so weird here. I think some of our, wow, we're having some glitches here today. I don't know why we have SMAs on top of Market Cipher, but we don't need our SMAs for now. So now that's better. So money flow's trying to come up. VWAP's kind of flat. Money flow's kind of rounding off here. So overall, it looks like we could get stuck around the support, but we do have that green dot from yesterday that could pump us forward. That is the same for graph. So that green dot usually means we have bullish momentum. Got a green dot here. Kind of got some good upside. Eventually came up and rounded off. Money flow was pretty weak, but it was coming up at that point. Our VWAP was coming down. Momentum was coming up. Our stochastic and RSI were heading up. So we had some signals going up there. We have some signals going up here where our stochastic's going up, RSI's heading up. VWAP's trying to come up. Momentum's trying to come up. But I don't think it's exactly quite the same environment, but it could play out similar if we are able to sustain this momentum. So we have this volume profile here. It is exactly the same settings I've used on my other volume profiles. It just looks different on this coin for some reason. We are over, here's our value area high, point of control, value area low. So we are making a bounce off that point of control, which was a very low area. So it's likely we could run up to this about 45-cent area if we keep moving with Bitcoin. I'm surprised we didn't get up there already as Bitcoin's setting new highs. It could get kind of a kind of pump contrary to Bitcoin, like we've seen Graph do, where Graphs pump more than Bitcoin some days. We may see that kind of hit this and then come down before Bitcoin breaks, but it's all going to kind of depend on the macro. So if we look at the 4-hour, stochastic's heading up, RSI's heading up, bearish divergence is highlighting, but we're trying to invalidate that with a green dot. But it's likely that'll eventually play out. Momentum's rounding off. Money flow's coming up, so that's a positive. VWAP's heading up, so that's a positive. So we are trying to invalidate this. That could be a positive sign. However, it's likely that if we do pump after that, maybe hit this value area high, then we'll get another possibly another divergence or something else that could take us lower. So don't get too greedy if you're going to hang on to this for a while. Just remember to always take profits on anything you're swinging, or not financial advice, but you don't want to just leave money on the table. But if you're comfortable taking the risk, leaving that on the table, go for it. It's all your risk tolerance, and you gotta figure out what works for you, because what works for you may not work for me. RSI's heading up, stochastic's heading up, VWAP's heading up, momentum wave, or money flow, is coming in pretty strong. So the 2 hours looking pretty good here. We are in an up channel. Up channels usually are downward patterns, so we could get a downwards break. On the 2 hour, don't know why our stuff kind of changed. The 1 hour, this is I did two. The 2 hour point control and the 1 hour, or the daily. So the daily, we are making that bounce off the point of control. Well, if we look lower on the 2 hour, we have a different fixed range volume profile that's over here. You just go here all the way to the bottom, and then you draw from here to here. Watch our video how to set it up, and we'll have a little more information on what settings I use. So we do have this up channel. Up channels are usually down indications of a downtrend. Momentum's kind of making a lower high with price kind of making a higher high. So the momentum's looking a little sketchy here, but we do have signals pushing forward, so we could keep moving. But being above this value area high means that we could come lower and possibly test this point of control, and maybe we'd bounce off that and come up. I can't see how these really overlap. If you look at the daily, the two value areas don't really overlap much. So if we completely broke out of this one, that means we could still bounce off the point control here and make a move up without being having to worry about a bearish move. But if we were to break that, then you'd worry about bearish moves. On XRP, we are still sliding downwards, kind of sideways. RSI is heading up. Stochastic's kind of hard to read, but it's kind of heading down. VWAP's making lower highs, heading up though. Money flow's trying to come up. Momentum's coming up, setting up green dot here, so looking pretty decent. Wants to make a move up, but kind of stuck here. Over on the 4 hour, momentum's heading up pretty strong. Money flow's coming up pretty good, trying to break bullish. It did get rejected once. Hopefully we can break through and get that bullish momentum going. My RSI is heading up. Our stochastic looks like it was cooling off, but it might make a bullish cross and head up. But it might set up a bearish divergence where we could head back down too. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic's kind of heading down. RSI is heading up. Money flow's curling, so be wary. VWAP's heading up, so we have some lanes in the bullish zones, but money flow is coming down, so I'd be cautionary of that. 1 hour, money flow's coming up, so looks alright on the 1 hour for money flow. Momentum's heading up, stochastic RSI, VWAP's heading up. So 1 hour looks good, but that 2 hour, hopefully we can kind of curl away and head up if we get more of a move up. Over on Algo, we are bouncing off this low value area still. Made a move out of our descending channel, so I'm going to get rid of that as, wrong one. Get rid of that as we don't need that anymore. VWAP's making lower highs as well. Our momentum, money flow broke bullish, sorry. So money flow's bullish, VWAP's heading up. Lower highs though. Our momentum's heading up. Stochastic's kind of curling, but our RSI is heading up because it has quite a bit of strength here. Over on the 4 hour, stochastic RSI heading up, VWAP and our momentum are heading up. Money flow is kind of curling after breaking bullish, so I'd watch out here. Maybe people are going to take profits, and we could see some more downside if things start to break. The 2 hour, we do have some hopium as we have a bullish divergence here. Money flow's coming up. VWAP's coming up. Our momentum's in the bullish area, but it looks like it has a green dot here. Kind of hard to read because everything's on top. Stochastic and RSI are heading up. 1 hour, money flow's heading up pretty strongly. VWAP's heading up, kind of flat. And our momentum's heading up with stochastic and RSI. So the 1 hour looks like we could continue some move up. So we're looking pretty good here. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.